Who would have imagined such a tragedy? Who would have thought that Mia Thompson, a little girl, could be forced into motherhood at an early age by her uncle? A promising life was shattered and destroyed by the lust and greed of Liam Carter. The town of Fremantle, nestled along the coast of Western Australia, was the picture of serenity. Its golden beaches and vibrant harbours painted an image of harmony that belied the darkness lurking beneath. In 2018, this peaceful facade was shattered by a harrowing crime that would haunt its residents for years to come. At the centre of this tragedy was Mia Thompson, a 14-year-old girl with a promising future whose life was cut short by a sinister betrayal. Mia was the kind of child who seemed to glow with an inner light. Her laughter was infectious, and her smile could brighten even the gloomiest days. She was a gifted artist, often spending hours sketching scenes of nature and wildlife that seemed almost to leap off the page. Her room was a testament to her talent, with walls covered in vibrant paintings of birds, forests, and ocean waves. It was a place of color and creativity, a reflection of her boundless imagination. Mia lived with her mother, Amanda, and her 10-year-old brother, Jamie. Amanda was a single mother who had been navigating the challenges of raising 2 children on her own since her divorce. A waitress at a local cafe, Amanda worked tirelessly to provide for her family, often taking on double shifts to make ends meet. Despite her demanding schedule, she was fiercely devoted to her children. She made sure they felt loved and supported, even if she couldn't always be there to tuck them in at night. Their modest home was filled with warmth, laughter, and the occasional chaos that came with raising 2 energetic kids. It wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, a place where they felt safe and loved. That sense of safety began to crumble in late 2017, when Amanda's younger brother, Liam Carter, moved in with them. Liam, at 42 years old, was a man who had seen his fair share of failures. Once a promising entrepreneur, his business ventures had crumbled under the weight of poor decisions and financial mismanagement. His marriage had also ended in divorce, leaving him with little more than a suitcase and a string of regrets. When Liam arrived in Fremantle, he appeared to be a man seeking redemption, eager to rebuild his life and reconnect with his family. Amanda, ever the optimist, welcomed him with open arms. She believed in second chances and was determined to help her brother get back on his feet. Liam quickly became a fixture in their home, helping with household chores and spending time with Mia and Jamie. To Amanda, it seemed like a perfect arrangement. She had always been close to her brother, and she was grateful to have him around to lend a hand. At first, Liam's presence seemed to be a positive influence. He encouraged Jamie to excel in school and took an active interest in Mia's art. He often praised her talent, bringing her new sketchbooks and colored pencils, and even setting up a small studio space in the corner of the living room for her to work on her projects. But beneath Liam's charm and helpful demeanor lay a darker side that Amanda could never have imagined. Over time, his interest in Mia became increasingly unsettling. It started with subtle gestures, a lingering touch on her shoulder, compliments that seemed overly familiar, and an insistence on spending time alone with her under the pretense of helping with her art. Mia, young and impressionable, didn't recognize the danger. She saw Liam as a supportive figure who understood her passion for art in a way no one else did. His attention made her feel special, and she was eager to please him. Liam, ever the manipulator, exploited this trust, slowly isolating Mia from her friends and family. By the beginning of 2018, the changes in Mia were becoming apparent. The once vivacious teenager grew increasingly withdrawn, her lively spirit dimmed by an invisible weight. She spent less time with her friends and more time in her room, her sketchbooks filled with darker, more somber images. Amanda noticed the shift, but attributed it to teenage mood swings, unaware of the turmoil brewing beneath the surface. The truth came to light in the most devastating way imaginable. On a rainy evening in April 2018, Mia collapsed in the kitchen while preparing dinner. Amanda rushed her to the hospital, frantic with worry. The doctors conducted a series of tests, and the results were shocking. Mia was 6 months pregnant. If you're enjoying this story, don't miss out on the next shocking true crime documentary we're about to reveal. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a twist like this again. Amanda's mind raced as she tried to process the news. Her 14-year-old daughter was pregnant, and the implications were almost too much to bear. The hospital staff immediately involved Child Protection Services, and Amanda was forced to confront a horrifying possibility. Who was the father of Mia's baby? After hours of questioning, Mia finally broke down and revealed the truth. Her uncle Liam had been abusing her for months. Through tears, she recounted how he had manipulated her, using her love of art and her desire for his approval to exploit her trust. He had isolated her, convincing her that she couldn't tell anyone without facing dire consequences. Amanda was devastated. The brother she had trusted, the man she had welcomed into her home, had preyed on her daughter in the most despicable way. The betrayal was unfathomable, and Amanda's guilt was overwhelming. She blamed herself for not seeing the signs, for not protecting her child from the predator within their own family. Liam was arrested and charged with multiple offenses, including sexual assault and child endangerment. The community of Fremantle was shaken to its core by the revelations. Residents who had once admired Liam for his charm and generosity now saw him as a monster hiding in plain sight. For Mia, the ordeal was far from over. The pregnancy took a significant toll on her young body. Her small frame and age made her a high-risk case, and doctors warned of potential complications. Despite the physical and emotional pain, Mia was determined to carry the baby to term. She clung to the belief that the child, though conceived under tragic circumstances, was innocent and deserved a chance at life. Amanda, filled with a mix of anger, sorrow, and guilt, vowed to be her daughter's rock through the storm. She attended every medical appointment, advocated for Mia in court, and tried to create a sense of normalcy for Jamie. The family was fractured, but Amanda was determined to hold them together, no matter how impossible it seemed. The story of Mia Thompson and Liam Carter spread beyond Fremantle, sparking conversations about child abuse and the importance of vigilance. As news of Liam Carter's arrest spread through Fremantle, the community reacted with shock and outrage. Neighbors who once considered Liam a charming and helpful man now viewed him as a predator who had shattered the trust of an entire family. The local newspapers were filled with headlines that painted a grim picture of the abuse Mia had suffered, and the small coastal town found itself thrust into the national spotlight. For Amanda Thompson, life became a relentless battle against grief and guilt. She could barely bring herself to meet the gaze of her neighbors, many of whom she felt were judging her for bringing Liam into their lives. But their opinions were the least of her worries. Her primary concern was Mia, whose physical and emotional health was rapidly deteriorating. Mia's pregnancy was fraught with complications from the beginning. At just 14 years old, her body was ill-equipped to handle the demands of carrying a child to term. The doctors at Fremantle Hospital expressed their concerns in no uncertain terms. Mia's small frame and young age placed her at a high risk of preeclampsia, premature labor, and other life-threatening conditions. Despite the medical warnings, Mia was resolute in her decision to keep the baby. She saw the child as a beacon of hope in an otherwise bleak reality, a chance to bring something good out of the nightmare she had endured. Amanda supported her daughter's choice, though it broke her heart to see the toll it was taking on Mia's young body and spirit. The months that followed were a blur of hospital visits, court hearings, and sleepless nights. Liam's trial began in June 2018, just 2 months after his arrest. The courtroom was packed with reporters, activists, and concerned citizens, all eager to see justice served. Mia was the star witness, a role she took on with remarkable courage. Despite her young age, she stood before the court and recounted her harrowing experiences with clarity and composure. Her testimony was a powerful indictment of Liam's actions, painting a picture of a manipulative man who had preyed on her innocence and trust. Liam, for his part, maintained his innocence. His defense team attempted to discredit Mia's testimony, portraying him as a victim of false accusations. They argued that Mia's pregnancy could have been the result of a relationship with someone her own age, a claim that was quickly debunked by DNA evidence. The trial was a deeply traumatic experience for Mia, who was forced to relive her abuse in excruciating detail. Each day in court felt like a fresh wound, a reminder of the betrayal that had upended her life, but she refused to back down. She wanted to ensure that Liam faced the full consequences of his actions, not just for her own sake, but for the safety of others. On July 10, 2018, the jury returned its verdict, guilty on all counts. Liam was sentenced to 25 years in prison without the possibility of parole, a sentence that was met with a mix of relief and sorrow from the Thompson family. Justice had been served, but the scars of Liam's betrayal would take much longer to heal. As the trial concluded, the focus shifted back to Mia and her pregnancy. By this time, she was 7 months along, and the strain on her body was becoming increasingly evident. Her once lively demeanor had given way to exhaustion and pain, her every movement a reminder of the life growing inside her. Amanda did everything she could to make Mia comfortable, turning their home into a sanctuary where she could rest and heal. She prepared Mia's favorite meals, surrounded her with art supplies, and read to her from the novels she loved. Jamie, though young, did his best to lift his sister's spirits, often leaving little notes of encouragement on her nightstand. Despite their efforts, Mia's condition continued to decline. By late July, she was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia, a condition characterized by dangerously high blood pressure that posed a significant risk to both her and the baby. The doctors recommended an emergency cesarean section, warning that waiting any longer could be fatal. On August 3, 2018, Mia was admitted to Fremantle Hospital for the procedure. The operating room was a tense and somber place, filled with a team of doctors and nurses who understood the gravity of the situation. Amanda held Mia's hand as they wheeled her into surgery, whispering words of love and encouragement. The operation began smoothly, but complications quickly arose. Mia's blood pressure plummeted, and her body struggled to cope with the physical trauma of the procedure. The medical team worked tirelessly to stabilize her, their every effort a race against time. At 11:45 a.m., Mia's baby girl was delivered, a tiny but healthy infant who cried out loudly as she entered the world. The sound brought a brief moment of relief to the room, a reminder of the miracle of life, even in the face of adversity. But for Mia, the battle was far from over. Her condition continued to deteriorate in the hours following the surgery. Despite the doctor's best efforts, her body began to shut down, overwhelmed by the stress of childbirth and the complications of preeclampsia. Amanda was by her side, holding her hand and pleading with her to fight. Mia passed away at 3:12 p.m. that same day, her young life cut short in the most tragic of circumstances. Her death was a devastating blow to her family, a loss that left a gaping hole in their hearts. The joy of welcoming a new life was overshadowed by the pain of losing one, a cruel twist of fate that seemed almost too much to bear. In the weeks that followed, Fremantle mourned the loss of Mia Thompson, a bright and talented young girl whose life had been marred by betrayal and tragedy. Her story became a rallying cry for change, sparking conversations about child abuse, family dynamics, and the importance of vigilance in protecting vulnerable children. Amanda, despite her grief, vowed to honor Mia's memory by giving her granddaughter the best life possible. She named the baby Hope, a symbol of resilience and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Hope became a source of comfort and purpose for Amanda, a reminder of Mia's legacy and the love she had brought into the world. The Thompson family's journey was far from over. They faced a long road of healing and rebuilding, a process that would test their strength and resilience at every turn. But through it all, they held on to the memory of Mia, a bright light that continued to guide them even in their darkest moments. Mia's story served as a powerful reminder of the importance of vigilance, compassion, and the need to speak out against injustice. It was a tale of heartbreak and hope, a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. The days following Mia's death were heavy with sorrow, a grief so profound that it left the Thompson family and the entire Fremantle community reeling. Mia's funeral was held on a crisp August morning, just a week after her passing. The small church overflowed with mourners, a mix of family members, friends, classmates, and neighbors who came to pay their respects. Amanda sat in the front row, clutching baby Hope tightly in her arms. The infant seemed unaware of the solemnity of the occasion, her soft coos and tiny movements providing a bittersweet reminder of the life Mia had left behind. Jamie, standing beside his mother, wore a somber expression that made him look far older than his 12 years. He had lost more than just a sister. He had lost a confidant, a protector, and a role model. As the pastor delivered the eulogy, recounting Mia's vibrant spirit and artistic talents, Amanda's mind wandered. She thought about the years they had spent as a family, the joy and laughter that Mia had brought into their lives. She remembered the nights spent helping her with homework, the weekends filled with art projects and movie marathons, and the quiet moments when Mia would confide in her. But those memories were now tainted by the shadow of Liam's betrayal. Amanda couldn't help but replay the events leading up to Mia's death, questioning every decision she had made. Could she have done more to protect her daughter? Had she missed the signs of Liam's predatory behavior? These questions haunted her, gnawing at her already fragile sense of self. After the funeral, the Thompson household became a refuge for those who wanted to offer their condolences. Plates of food and flowers filled every available surface, a physical manifestation of the community's support. But no amount of casseroles or sympathy cards could fill the void left by Mia's absence. Amanda struggled to find a sense of normalcy in the weeks that followed. Caring for baby Hope became her sole focus, a way to channel her grief into something productive. She spent hours rocking the baby to sleep, whispering stories about the mother she would never know. In those quiet moments, Amanda felt a connection to Mia, a reminder that her daughter's legacy lived on in the tiny life she had brought into the world. Jamie, too, found ways to cope with his grief. He began spending more time at the local library, immersing himself in books about art and storytelling. He told himself that he was doing it for Mia, to keep her love of creativity alive, but deep down, he knew. The community's response to Mia's story extended far beyond Fremantle. Media outlets across Australia picked up the tale, turning it into a national conversation about child abuse, familial betrayal, and the systemic failures that allowed predators like Liam to operate unnoticed. Activists and policymakers called for stronger protections for vulnerable children, using Mia's story as a rallying cry for change. Among those most affected by Mia's story was Detective Sarah Coleman, the lead investigator on the case. A seasoned officer with years of experience in child protection, Sarah had seen her fair share of heartbreaking cases. But Mia's story struck a particular chord with her. In the months leading up to Liam's trial, Sarah had spent countless hours interviewing Mia, piecing together the timeline of abuse. She had been struck by the girl's resilience and bravery, qualities that belied her young age. Mia had spoken with a maturity and clarity that left Sarah in awe, even as the details of her story broke her heart. After the trial, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that Mia's death could have been prevented. She began advocating for reforms within the child protection system, pushing for more rigorous background checks for caregivers and better support for abuse survivors. Her efforts led to the creation of the Mia Thompson Act, a set of legislative changes aimed at improving safeguards for at-risk children. For Amanda, the national attention brought both comfort and pain. On one hand, she was grateful that Mia's story was inspiring change. On the other hand, she found it difficult to reconcile the public's fascination with her family's tragedy. Every article, every news segment felt like a reopening of old wounds, a reminder of the pain she was desperately trying to move past. As the months turned into years, the Thompson family began to rebuild their lives. Amanda started attending support groups for grieving parents, finding solace in the shared experiences of others. Jamie, now a teenager, channeled his love of art into a budding career as a graphic designer, creating pieces that honored Mia's memory. And then there was Hope, the tiny miracle who had brought a glimmer of light into their darkest days. As she grew, Hope became the center of the Thompson family's world. Her laughter filled their home with a joy they hadn't felt in years, a reminder that life, despite its tragedies, was still worth living. By the time Hope was 5, she had become a curious and energetic child, full of questions about the world around her. Amanda often found herself telling stories about Mia, painting a picture of a vibrant young girl who had loved art, nature, and her family. She wanted Hope to know that, despite the circumstances of her birth, she was deeply loved and cherished. Mia's legacy extended far beyond her family. The Mia Thompson Act became a cornerstone of child protection legislation in Australia, leading to significant improvements in how cases of abuse were handled. Schools implemented new programs to educate children about consent and boundaries, while community organizations worked to provide better resources for survivors. But for Amanda, Mia's true legacy was much simpler. It was the love and resilience that her family carried forward in her absence. Every milestone they celebrated, every moment of joy they experienced, was a testament to the strength they had found in each other. Even as they moved forward, the Thompson family never forgot the lessons Mia had taught them. They became advocates for change, using their story to raise awareness about the importance of vigilance and compassion. Amanda often spoke at schools and community events, sharing her experiences in the hopes of preventing similar tragedies. Through it all, Amanda held on to one simple truth: Mia's life, though tragically short, had left an indelible mark on the world. Her story was a reminder of the power of love, the importance of resilience, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The Thompson family's journey was far from over, but they faced the future with a renewed sense of hope and purpose. They had learned to find light in the darkest of places, to honor Mia's memory by living their lives to the fullest. And in doing so, they ensured that her legacy would never be forgotten. Join our community of true crime enthusiasts. Subscribe and be part of the conversation, where we dig deep into the most shocking and mysterious cases together.